So we are back with Svavelvinter, the role-playing game, Sulphur Winter. It's really a mouthful to say both the Swedish and the English word, isn't it? Welcome, everyone, to this recording of... This is session 3 for these agents. I don't know which chapter we're on, to be honest. We're jumping between things here. We will be on Vemsica the 16th on the calendar. There we go. That's where we are. And I will be happy to introduce everyone here based on where you are from left to right on my overlay screen, which and this is not following the same exact pattern as last time because now we have a lovely guest with us. And so I used the overlay that I used for the first thing we did on the journey to Marjura when Praanz and Malakai were not here. So, from left on my screen, Sin.
Hello, I am Cincinnatus, aka Sin, and I am playing Lady Taralese da Bravaleti.
And then we have Josh.
Hi folks, Josh Lapointe, and I'm playing Erald de Mereld.
And then we have Jessica Lapointe, because we have two Jesses.
Hey guys, I'm Jessica Lapointe, and I'm playing Praanz da... something, I can't remember my last name. Praanz da Kaelve.
Indeed, and Rook.
I'm Rook, and I am playing the privateer Captain Malakai.
And last but definitely not least, we have Jessica Burke.
Greetings. I'm also Jessica, and I'm playing Malek Mangus.
Indeed. And so we are back to Arhem on this morning, the 16th of Vemsica, as I mentioned. There's a slight smell of fire over the town today because of what happened during the night. But before we look into what's happening to all our agents in town and what kind of intrigues and such like they might be up to, we also have to recognize that they are not the only pushers of various agendas in this town. There are plenty of minions serving the various powers, and they have been busy while our agents were doing things like enjoying a banquet together, for example. So, for instance, in the fisheries, a merchant of Klenora da Spinalunga was working hard to gain more influence in the area, having become a more established newcomer. This merchant has decided to make a move and began to establish trade deals with the fishers, slightly more favorable to them. Some laborers recently organized into a guild or union, if you will, working for the independence champion Gerion Groteschi on Palamux. They had been contracted to carry this fish and these goods, but they tried to strike to get better pay. That failed when a group of mafiosos working for the mafia in the imperial capital interceded and beat them until they relented. And thus, Klenora's conspiracy to get some influence in the fisheries succeeded. She was not the only one getting some influence there. So did, in fact, Lemur Spad, who is a freedom fighter in Transmira. He has some spies there, and these spies now know who is vulnerable to pressure being applied. Used a few judicious reminders about, we know your secrets, and those poor fools now know to whom they owe their allegiance. Let's see now. We were also in the Low Town. What happens in the Low Town? We had some street toughs that have worked to improve their own positions, mobilized their own ranks, Now that aggrieved parties and any low-born orphans of Tracorian depravity are identified and recruited, it is time to see how many other low-born Mordurans harbor resentment of their colonial oppressors. These sympathetic parties have been sent to the common houses to tell their tale and see what heads turn their way. Likewise, in Golma's organized crime bookies, in that the gambling den in Lowtown, have been taking stock of their accounts and counting their money to precision to know exactly how to leverage their profits. In the wharfs and warehouses, there is a butler working for Klenora, who's been continuing to familiarize himself with local procedures, having been made aware of Toll, the customs agent. And Vemsica's Marines have been trying to raise influence there in the wharf. This group of easily identifiable people that appeared on the docks seemed to have been able to accomplish things that caused quite a stir, but not enough just yet to make the locals cower properly, how shall we say. What else did we have there? The infirmary saw a lot of work this time, didn't it? The Inquisition's secret agents made their way into the infirmary to review those being seen and the information about those that have passed through. But Fundibera, the witch, has some priests there, moon-worshipping priests, and they are urging those in the infirmary to keep their observations between themselves and the priests and their gods, thus getting in the way of these of the Inquisition's secret agents. But Goba da Grummi, the director of the Secret Service, does have a wizard. And that wizard has been reporting necessary information to the agents of the Inquisition. But that wasn't enough to help the Inquisition, because the Shagulite agents stepped up. They've been expressing dismay about the Inquisition interference in this, a place of healing. The Shagulites welcomed them when it seemed they intended to help. Goodness only knows that the Shagulites are stretched thin right now, but now they've shown their true colors. Unlike our friends from Check Notes, the recently arrived archaeological expedition. So the Shagulites actively defend those being harassed and subject to invasion of privacy by overzealous agents of the Inquisition and their wizard allies. We've all heard rumors, but these ordinary people who can come across to seeking our care, these are ordinary people who can come across seeking our care. So what if a majority of them are Morduran? There's no reason to treat an entire people with suspicion simply because an obscure and secretive sect turned treacherous. Honestly, the Inquisition should be ashamed of themselves acting in such an obviously prejudiced way. The Shagulites will not stand for it. And this worked for the Shagulites. And thus, it came to naught, the attempt to raise influence in the infirmary. We had the market as well. Fundiberos, the witch, has some soldiers. They have been reorganizing themselves. Don't worry, dear citizens, we're here to protect the economy. Apparently, they seem to be accepted so far. Goba da Grummi has a merchant there who has had some casual, friendly chats with customers to gain their confidence. Now, Ingolma's underworld traders there have been warning the locals not to be swayed by the Tracorians, who only want to take advantage of them and limit their free trade efforts. But Vemsica, the pirate queen, does have some local hookers there who tell the underground traders that are trying to steal they tell the locals that the underground traders are trying to steal their wealth, and that the traders have a pox. So this is in fact sufficient to convince the locals that the merchant is trustworthy. Thus, Goba da Grummi's merchant does get some influence in the market. And we had some in the sulfur camp. Gerion Grotescu's spies have been looking for dirt on the guards, and the Shagulites have let's see, they've also strengthened their position there. The powers that be, whether new or old, seem to be neglecting the sulfur camps, which is just fine with the Shagulites. Quietly, they expand their surveillance network. Reanimated rats don't care where they're deployed, after all, to the extent that such beings have desires. They're merely pleased at being given the blasphemous semblance of a second chance. And so those necromantic sorcery's powers have been strengthened. In the garrison, that was also a bit of a hotbed, wasn't it? Klenora Seamstress. She was working really hard last time and managed to get some influence, and now she's taking a little bit of a break from that particular work. After the Enlightening Ball, she turns to gathering information on the local fashion trends of the last few seasons and gauging their reaction to Silesia's statement piece. And thus, she is in a better position to act in the future. And I think the biggest... let's see now. So the Vemsica's, the Pirate Queen's clairvoyant has also been mobilizing herself. Certain seamstress quietly wandering the halls of the garrison finds a spectral crow, her companion in discharging of her mistress's orders. While Fundibera's prostitutes have come up to the garrison, the sulfur camp had some serious weird vibes, so soldiers are much more open-pursed and loose-lipped, and they have gained some inroads there. No, not influence yet. In fact, the big coup was really from the Shagulites, who raised their influence there. This was through mentalist magic to further their hold over the seat of governance. The conspiracy against the colony's finances, the dark whispers from beneath the ice, the tragic but in retrospect inevitable fate of the druids, and a governor doing the best he can as disaster threatened on every side. Heroic, really, and certainly a more career-enhancing story for anyone who tells it than drab little tales of administrative malfeasance. As a coup, it's a very quiet one, the sort easily missed by those without an insider's view. I have a feeling that the atmosphere in the garrison might have shifted a bit. Finally, in Hightown, that's where the fire was. This was Lemur, the Transmuran freedom fighter, did try to raise his influence there. He visited a cook in their bedchamber. There's an assassin there. A strange token left where a child plays. A butler awakens to find the front door ajar with nothing missing from the house. The signs letting those at the bottom of Hightown know there is a new player and that working with them may be safer. But all this work was undermined by Goba da Grummi's spy, who followed, shutting the doors, picking up the tokens, showing that the Hightown belongs to someone already, and she will not be deterred. While Gerion Grotescu's courtiers have been making friends in high places and setting themselves up in a more powerful position. And that's basically the roundup. We'll see how all this will go. I have a feeling there will be daggers in backs before this is over. What do you guys think? Maybe? Yes?
Well, I personally am merely here to help.
Of course, of course.
Yourself, but
I prefer to be looking them in the eye when I gut them, thank you.
I'm fine
it
with
must
that.
be awkward going for a bite for the gut and trying to stare up into their eyes.
Indeed.
My knives don't go for the back, although they do go for everywhere else.
Yes. So, we are then in the morning of this day. And yes, where do we find our respective agents? I think I'm actually going to start asking Malek what Malek might be doing this morning.
Oh, well, after all of the excitement recently, I am likely taking a short break at my home, catching up with my drawing. I haven't had time, really, to do very much of that recently. It's not good to let your skills atrophy, particularly one so useful.
That's a fair point. Lady Taralese, meanwhile, will wake up after a busy night, I guess.
Oh, hardly. Woke up, saw the fire. It's all rather interesting, and went back to bed. I mean, beauty sleep and all. It'll keep till the morning anyway. Especially after, I think Praanz went tromping off to go and take a look at it too, so she knows she'll hear about it in the morning.
Speaking of which, did any of you want to summarize last session really quick for a fate die? That's a mechanic in this game. So we have a quick recap of what happened. Erald, perhaps? You seem to need one.
I'm content currently. Really quickly, last session, there was the ball at the garrison. We've met very many interesting and new faces as the ball reached through. There was Gwendolyn, a mountain man from the nearby giant village. There was also, we met Karu, which I believe is actually the son of Cilicia and Gotthard. Through the evening of the garrison, it was very much a political ploy across all players involved. Hi, Malek. Outside of that, there was also the biggest item of the evening, actually, I think would come from Trevinder, dropping off a nice little gift. And later in the evening, as the party died down and we found that there was a fire. As simple as that in Hightowns, and Trevinder's body was found there within.
Supposedly.
A body was found within.
A body was found. This is a fair point. A body.
You forgot to mention that Malek invited you up to their retreat.
Yes.
It's true. I apologize. Yes. I have an all access paid by Malek to go visit the Iron Tower. I'm looking forward to it.
All are welcome. You will see we have nothing to hide.
A study trip?
I had a very strong suspicion this place is like Hotel California. You can check in, but can't ever leave.
Man, I just finished that season on American Horror Story. So
the
good.
Hotel was good.
The guided tour takes a while. It's a very intricate Iron Tower, I'm sure.
There is a lot to see.
There's a lot to see. So will Erald in fact take up this invitation?
Yeah, I think that would probably be the next step after he figures out whose body that was in a Hightown.
Okay. How does he plan to find out that?
Well, I'm assuming very similarly to the lady here. Basically, next morning, once Erald wakes up from his bit of a nap, because he did wake up, seeing the fire, went back to bed also, knowing that Praanz was on the situation.
Yep.
And then yes, from there, Erald will probably come down from the garrison, find some food. If not found there, probably make his way over to the nearby tavern, and then wait to see if you can find Malek.
Very good.
I saw that delicious fish that was left over, suspiciously.
Yeah.
I suppose I ought to go and check into the fire. There may be people there in need of assistance.
There may be. Let's have a look here. So I have...
You will find Praanz still there, covered in soot, digging through ruins and making sure the rest of the fires are out.
But darling, that's not the right way to apply coal. It's only on the eyes.
I'm going to remove Gotthard and Cilicia for the moment. You will know that they are definitely in the garrison there.
I thought I could use all the help I could get. I thought if I applied it all body, it might do me some more good.
Praanz, you have indeed been working just about all night by that site. Found nothing much other than what you already knew. I will be giving you a point of exhaustion for having been awake that long.
That's fine.
So I guess Erald will be going down there. If Lady Taralese is also going down there, let's have a look at things here.
Well, if nothing else, she needs to check on the other nobles that are there in Hightown.
This is true, but I
Do I pass through there on my way to the office?
Yes, I wanted to give Taralese... Why don't we give Taralese and Erald a chance to roll for things? Taralese, you get to roll wind, because that's your forte. Erald, you can roll your water, because that's your strength. So, in comparison. So that's 3 dice for Taralese and 2 for Erald. If you don't have to use your Machinator for this, if you don't want to, Taralese. This is to see... Very good. I'm gonna say succeed at cost again. What could be the cost here? What would be a cost here? Yeah, this is like a perception roll to judge the atmosphere inside the garrison this morning.
Judge the environment and the garrison.
Trip on a loose flagstone, not paying attention to where you're going?
Bump into the wrong noble.
I'm gonna give both of you a point of fear. That's what I'm gonna do. You will notice...
Actually, that's a very good question, given the shadow games that were going on and her now revealed specialties. Would she have detected that she wasn't the only one digging around in people's minds?
I think that happened while you were asleep.
Okay.
So the residue has dissipated by the time both the Inquisitor and Taralese wakes up. But Taralese, being someone who knows about this kind of stuff, will recognize how many of, I should say, key people, the Seneschal, the Major Domo, if you will, 1 or 2 of the servants, miss a beat or 2 when she speaks to them. It's not the usual relaxed good morning. Yeah, politeness. It's including, 1 or 2 reflexive veiled insults, because you have to as a prior Tornan. But it takes a moment. It just delayed. It's like the brain glitches a bit. And I think it's the pervasiveness that will give both Taralese and Erald a shot of adrenaline. Something shifted here. It's like, in those horror movies from the 60s when you come to the Transylvanian village and everybody has been mind controlled by Dracula? That kind of feel.
Shockingly good analogy.
I know, right? It's just that slight shift in behavior where
those who are here to help have nothing to fear.
The face is just a little bit too relaxed, a little bit too robotic when it says it's good morning.
The Stepford Wives.
Yes, a little bit of that. Maybe not just a little bit.
She's not going to say anything while they're in the garrison, certainly. But once they're outside of the garrison, she'll kind of look at Erald and say, Did everything seem a little off this morning?
It does seem odd. I don't know if it was just from the incident last night, but yeah. It's not the same garrison.
If it was something like that, I would expect them to be a little bit more excited. I've seen something more like that when there was a fire in the library once. Why they had the library, I couldn't tell you, but really it's only good for kindling anyway. But no, it seemed something else. And she kind of gives him a look for a second. Maybe something of interest to you.
Oh. I'll have to come back after then, and see if there's any remnants.
Do that. But for now, I think more importantly, we should focus on finding Praanz and make sure she doesn't get buried in any rubble or anything like that.
It would be bad for the Secret Service to wind up dead.
It's a short stroll, obviously. It takes you all of, 5 minutes to get yourself down from the garrison, the South Hill, the peak of the South Hill, down to Hightown. This area with a lot of wooden buildings, which of course was very unfortunate when there was a fire. But there they are, the pride of Arnhem. Only people with good wealth have a wooden building.
How many buildings did we lose from this particular district?
Just the one.
Okay.
Praanz specifically went down and made an effort to
Yeah.
contain the fire. So.
Yeah.
Where was the fire exactly?
It was about 3 houses down from Villa Sunbask, which of course is... So it was close enough to places of interest for Malek. The Shakello Trading House. Boudeville Scoffer, who is the local representative, is very, very upset and angry, and has been awake just about all night, just like Praanz, and is also present at the scene of the crime, and asking a lot of questions, in fact. Well, he has stopped now. He was asking more questions during the evening and night, but he's still there, and giving Praanz baleful glances.
I imagine they're very quiet glances, as Praanz would have probably threatened to have him arrested for arson several times.
He's having a very undignified breakfast together with his 2 bodyguards on a barrel. He's basically sitting on a crate and has the barrel as a table, and his 2 bodyguards are standing around him, eating cold cuts and looking over the devastation. And that is how Erald and Lady Taralese finds Praanz, surveying the damage.
My initial plan was to greet Praanz, but I think I'd best go and speak with our devastated merchant friend.
Very well, if Malek arrives there before, and Malek certainly can arrive there before Praanz. Master Scoffer will stand up as Malek comes, Malek being a person of importance in this area.
Praanz hadn't left yet.
Nope.
Greetings, Master Scoffer. I am shocked and terribly sorry for your loss. Is there anything I can do?
Master Mangus, it's an unexpected pleasure. I'm not sure what a religious group of healers might be able to assist with. Unfortunately, my guest, my lodger, was found dead and is probably beyond your assistance. But I do have a housekeeper who has some burns.
Yes.
Of course,
Happy to help.
we will be very happy to provide your group, your order with substantive monetary compensation for any assistance to our staff.
I certainly appreciate it. However, in view of the circumstances, It won't be necessary. I'm more concerned with what happened.
Apparently, my lodger... That's a good question. Colonel Praanz, what happened?
We are currently still investigating.
Good morning, Colonel Praanz.
Good morning. She is completely covered in soot
Yep.
and smells of char.
Why don't we have you roll a wind check to see what you can draw as conclusions from this crime scene, if you will? Unfortunately, I don't see any particular abilities that would assist in this case, so
No,
it's the one die.
One die.
Yeah.
Okay. Considering what Praanz is, she's not very smart.
She has other skills.
I feel like Praanz is more of a bruiser.
Yep. Again, the Dirty Harry of the Secret Service.
Yeah. 2.
Yeah, I think Praanz's brain is a bit too tired right now after having waddled through the soot all night to draw any clear conclusions. A couple of the guards have speculated that maybe this noble Travinder de Holmes was simply drunk out of his brains and tipped over a candle or something, and...
Considering what Praanz knows about him, she immediately dismisses that theory.
Very well. That's some of the soul. There was a candle tipped over. I don't know. Maybe it's... I think... Since this is not necessarily an age where fire forensics is terribly well developed, it's hard to say exactly where the fire started.
While Praanz is speaking with the guard, Malek will say as an aside to the merchant, I'm surprised to see the colonel here. Last I heard she was here under rather different circumstances.
She has been, in fact, molesting, and this is like a whisper at this point to Malek, molesting my operations ever since yesterday.
I had heard. I'm
Accusing me and us of smuggling weapons? Have you ever heard of such an outrage?
goodness. I must confess there are all manner of disquieting rumors around the town recently. When I heard that she had in fact ransacked one of your facilities. I must confess, I thought the worst when I saw the fire.
Indeed. Maybe this is in fact her doing after all. I'm going to have word with the procurator. Name it.
Let's not jump to any conclusions, of course. I am, as you are, I'm sure, shocked by this turn of events and what has been going on in the city we both love so deeply.
Quite. Everything was in good order until this sulfur convoy came. In fact, until the Reaver's daughter came. You've seen the pirate ship, haven't you? Yes. I think everything is because of that.
It's terribly exciting in some ways to have a pirate ship in port, but not the good type of excitement.
You can see how Vaudeville gets that proper level of shock at, excitement and pirates speaking to a merchant. Oh, yes, quite so. Well,
my patients do talk, you see.
Yes, of course. Yes. Well,
They're all terribly anxious, I must say. The Inquisitor has been harassing them much as the Colonel has been harassing your folks, and it's been quite... I'm feeling quite testy about it.
No doubt.
But I should not burden you with my problems. I think, yes, speaking with the Procurator is quite a good idea.
Name it, pult, we go. He stands up and looks. I'm going to say, Colonel, just this once, again. We have to make sure that the sulfur is properly stored in the hulls of the ship before too long. All these things have interrupted our operations in a most detrimental fashion. I'm sure the Budak will hear of this, and I'm sure the Emperor himself will take exception. Or the Empress. Or someone stomps away.
Good morrow.
I think that might be at the time when Erald and Lady Taralese approaches.
Praanz just looks at him deadpan, like I give a shit about anything you have to actually say.
Tomorrow.
And continues
Sure.
making preparations for the body to be removed.
Yes, of course. We're all very terribly worried about the sulfur being able to get where it needs to. Why don't you go and talk with the good admiral? And ensure that things are still proceeding as required
Is that to
with that
Vaudeville?
scuttled ship.
Is that to Vaudeville?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess he'll do that. Yeah. Is there a longboat coming ashore from the Reaver's Daughter at about this time?
I was assuming I would have been there by now, honestly.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, I'm heading towards office, but do I go through this area?
Not necessarily, but it's not a very long detour. It takes you all of... 2
He would
minutes to go
probably
up there.
check out shit burning down. He's
Yeah,
It's something he's familiar with.
and it's not what it looked like last night when he went to bed.
I don't think he could see by the time he went to bed.
No, exactly.
Trash.
Upon arriving, you would notice Malakai now sports a black eye, busted lip, crust of blood around his nose, and from a particular wad of padding, you may assume a superficial slash wound.
Praanz is just dirty and covered in soot and smells like char, and she just looks vicious.
You look like your night was about as good as my fucking morning.
Yeah, lovely. I'm fairly
got you.
certain we just lost a bunch of goddamn evidence.
Lost evidence or gained it. Certainly there means that there's something that he was trying to hide. No?
Someone was trying to hide something. They said they believe a candle got knocked over.
It's one fucking powerful candle.
Is oil a common thing to be used?
It's called Silvolium, but yes.
Is that the same stuff that I would be using in my explosive catapult barrels?
Yeah,
Is it a scent I would be familiar with?
I'd say so, yeah.
Is there a very, very strong scent of this burned off kind of floating in the air?
I mean, if you just use a small amount to start it, it doesn't have to leave a lot of a very strong scent. I guess the best investigator for this really is Lady Taralese, given her high level of wind there. But if we add, who else would want to assist her? That's the question. Malakai, you have a decent wind, don't you? Yes, you do.
Yeah, my wind's okay.
And so if you roll your wind, which is the 2 dice, let's see how much you could assist Taralese with. Oh no!
Not a damn bit.
Ooh.
Okay, so how do you get in Taralese's way? You're still a bit hungover, perhaps?
Probably.
You vomit on evidence?
No, I got a stronger constitution than that.
Maybe you get in a fight with the guards.
Got into a fight, but it wasn't with the guards.
Well, you probably have a bloody snot rocket you need to get out of your nose if it's broken.
Yeah, that's fair. And I also have a dusky-skinned woman following me, screaming at me in a foreign language.
So a typical day ending in Y.
Yes.
So this is then why Lady Taralese only rolls the 2 dice instead of the 3. Ah, but still something. Success at cost again, because no 6. What would be the cost here?
Probably her outfit is probably completely ruined from the charcoal and the various other bits of detritus that's just rubbing off as she gets too close.
Yes. Yes, she'll need to go and change later on. That's a good point. Yeah, okay. I'll send you a message. How about that?
Okay.
In the Zoom.
I will also ask you, Lady Taralese, is there anything you can tell me about your friend that could help me identify whether or not this is him or if I'm still looking for him? Do you know of any broken bones or missing teeth or anything that could help me identify the body?
Unfortunately not, though one thing that I did find very interesting is I think Travinder may be female, disguising herself as a male.
That would make a difference.
That would make a difference. So perhaps if we look over the body, I think there's things to be able to tell with that kind of thing. I heard about it once when I was passing by the college. Some scholars were prattling on about it. I didn't understand any of it, but
A differentiation in the hips, I believe.
I would be happy to assist.
Ah, Malek is present. Erald?
I imagine they both jump, just suddenly Malek appears between them.
I am,
Of course.
a specialist in anatomy, after all.
That would be very helpful. Thank you. If you could tell me whether this body is male or female.
So I guess there's a body.
There is a body, yes. Which is,
Out of character, what typically happens to bodies in Arhem? Do they get taken to the infirmary, or is there a morgue?
it's on a
Treat with a sheet over it.
case by case basis. The number of murders around here is very low. Unless, someone wants to affect it, then they usually dispose of the body very effectively themselves. Sometimes infirmary, yes. The procurator, if there's... I don't think there's ever been, a murder investigation in this town, ever. I'm not... That's not entirely true. There have been cases when soldiers have gotten drunk and stabbed each other to death and that kind of thing. In that case, it's with the Procurator's office, because he is the justice here, so...
Well, a morgue could still be used for embalming and things like that, if they bury their dead, or whether they just toss it in the sulfur pool.
That can also happen. There is, in fact, a very overzealous torturer working in the garrison. He has been known to sometimes get carried away before the poor victim had a chance to speak properly.
That's the problem with torture. You need to have patience.
Yeah.
It would be well to start
Taralese
the
just
embalming
looks at Praanz and then looks back to the evidence.
Malakai will turn to Praanz. I hear that's the reason why there's at least 2 of most body parts, so you can ask the same question twice.
Exactly.
Malakai will approach Taralese, and oddly enough, the stream of constant verbal berating he gets stops. Callisto looks very politely and smiles at Lady Taralese and gives a very horrible curtsy. Need to have a word later. I think I'll have something in my possession you may have interest in.
Oh, wonderful. In the meantime, This does smell a little bit like you do sometimes when you've been making up your little bomb things.
I can catch a scent on the wind. Seems a bit more than you'd find in like an oil lamp.
More than that, but certainly not like one of your bombs that you like to make up.
Nah, I had used about 20 gallons on those.
So Malek is probably sitting quite happily with like a sketch pad, like sketching the body's proportions in exquisite detail.
May I
You ever
have a
considered
copy
being
of that when you finished?
Certainly.
Thank
You
you.
ever considered becoming a tattoo artist?
I can't say I have.
You should look into it.
Well, it'd be wonderful. You'd have a medical professional doing it for you. Very sanitary.
Less chance of infection.
It's true.
There is a clear distinction between the cloud of perfume around Malek and the smell of fire from the house.
Well, now you guys can more directly compare Taralese and Malek for who has the worst smelling perfume.
This is true.
Malakai will make his excuses and continue on to the office since I do have an early morning meeting.
Indeed.
Of course, we'll talk later.
Just like completely uncaring about the fact that my robes are all sooty now, just like living my best life, sketching this body here.
But how can he tell?
So, what would I roll to see what I get off of the body?
Well, that depends on what method you want to use in this case, of course. If you are... I mean, we could go with learning if you want to use mundane means of looking into this. And if you want to spend fate dice on that, it's a win roll regardless, so that's 3 dice. But if you want to add some fate dice to that, you could either use your learning or you know, your more arcane arts, if you will.
With the Inquisitor right over there.
With the Inquisitor right over
Don't know what you're talking about.
Better to stick to the mundane, which should be more than sufficient. I mean, this is an area of interest to me.
Yes.
And
I mean,
with what
Praanz
happened
doesn't give a
last-
shit one way or another, but the Inquisitor might.
And with what happened last night, nobody will even smell the fire as it burns.
So if you want to spend fate dice on that, Malek, you can spend 2 of those, and that would give you 5 dice in total.
I am quite happy to not spend fate dice.
Very well, then just roll 3 regular d6s.
What happened? I didn't. Sorry. What happened? Oh, here we go. Sorry.
Not a problem. There we go.
Ooh,
It
that's
is
not good.
1 success at the very least. I do believe that you have some
Apparently,
experience.
so I imagine my drawing looks more grotesque than anything else.
Praanz seems unconcerned.
Well, you do have an experience if you want to check it off. That you could use to re-roll 2 of those dice if you want to.
I suppose I might as well.
Mm-hmm. That didn't help. Okay, then we still are at 1 success.
I'm probably doing a running commentary about how I learned this particular form of drawing as I'm going along. It's always been greatly fascinating to me how the flesh can turn against its owner and become poisoned. This is one of the things that first led me to the study of medicine, to prevent it, of course.
You should just see Erald's visible face just go deadpan of all of his thought processes totally coming through here. just looking at Malek and working on this body in front of us.
Taralese is totally turning towards Praanz and doing the...
So I imagine I don't really get anything much.
No, not much.
Success.
I will.
Other than just, having a good time sitting here drawing this body.
Praanz has that look of, oh, darling, I could show you things.
I can send you a Zoom message.
Huzzah!
Yes. You will need to do some more sort of vivisection to be sure about everything, of course.
Of course,
That
yes.
would have to follow.
Yes. Well, not here. It gets messy.
Yeah.
Best to use the appropriate facilities.
Indeed. There we go.
It's hard to say the body is quite damaged, although I imagine you know that already. I will need further time to analyze it, to learn much more. There are things one can learn using the proper procedures, but that would get quite messy.
I would like to accompany you, if you don't mind.
Well, I guess on the good side, you don't need to worry about any blood coming out.
Yeah. So Praanz will have 2 soldiers, and she's very specific about how they pick up the body and place it and move it, and like specific instructions, and she is berating them until they get it correct.
They will obey on the double. Probably not terribly skillfully at all times, but they will correct themselves at any given moment when Praanz so directs.
And
Give me a few moments, Colonel. I will meet you at the garrison. I need to contact my assistant. There was somebody who was injured in the fire, and I want to ensure that they receive appropriate care.
of course, I will meet you there. And she will follow the body back to the garrison then.
Indeed. So we have... what's Erald and Balan gonna do when everybody apparently is going back to the garrison?
Going back to the garrison also. like to find out the findings and continue his investigation.
Very good. Meanwhile, Malakai is in his office. And he's going to get visited, indeed, by a certain someone. Namely Guelman, the mountain man, or the elder of the mountain folk, who comes in with his very plush cloak lined with fur. He folds his hood back. He seems to not be entirely comfortable with this particular establishment's atmosphere, maybe?
Upon entering, Guelman would find Malakai sitting there with a slab of cold meat pressed against his eye.
Captain. He brings out his enormously big pipe. I'm glad you have some time for me.
It's the best way to foster relations. Meet someone, they need something, you make time for them. You take care of people. I trust nothing too horrendous is going on in your life that you need me to smuggle you and your mistress away.
He just kind of raises his very bushy white eyebrows. Oh, it's a joke. I don't always understand these lowlander jokes, you know.
I understand. I run into the same problem with landwalkers.
Aye, you are from the sea and I'm from the mountains. We are about as different as can get, I suppose.
I understand.
But, you do have a habit of, moving items from one location to another.
I've been known to engage in a bit of smuggling.
Ah. Does that perchance include overland a short stretch.
That's very interesting. It's not my forte. But to have a wolfkin, some savage marines that are equally as versed on land as they are on the deck of a ship. Tell me more.
Well, you see, I don't know if you're aware that there is a mine on this here island.
What type of mine? Iron, copper.
A mercury.
That's... Alright. What's about this mine?
It used to be ours, you see. We worked it. Until the dragon came.
There's a dragon there, you say.
Aye, that's where he took up his residence.
Did you know? I brought a famous dragon slayer with me to this very island upon my ship.
Well, maybe we only have to await his arrival, then. That would be most excellent. You see, when my folk had to leave in haste, there were plenty of things we couldn't get with us from that mine.
I understand. You wish to recoup on an investment that was lost.
Aye, that is the very wish we have. We are willing to offer any intrepid entrepreneur about 50 gold decarii per barrel.
Sorry, notes. Let me reach...
There is a way inside, you see, that I do doubt that the dragon would know about.
Secret entrance.
Aye.
Where would this be located at?
Well, just as you see the main entrance to the mine, can't miss it. Huge hole, cave mouth. On your left, there is a tower built into the mountainside. If you can get inside that tower, you should be able to get yourself to a secret entrance on the lower level. Now, me personally, I did not live there. I did not work there. I'm from a different place, you see. But there is supposed to be a way in there. If you just know the secret words, if you will.
What you're telling me is there's a secret passage underneath an abandoned tower that requires magical fucking words to open, and you don't have the words.
Not magical words. No. Secret words. Go with heat. Go in darkness. That's the key. Now, us mountain folk, we live here on the island, you see, and the Tricorians are ever so, sensitive about the dragon being disturbed and all. So we do not really want to get anywhere close to it. You, most noble captain, are a recent comer here, and you shall probably leave with a convoy, I take it, before the sea serpents block the passage back to the south. I have a feeling that one such as you, or entrepreneurial-minded, might have a better chance of escaping notice, particularly if you have experience in moving items unnoticed, as it were.
You're you're leaving one real baseline piece of information out. I'm smuggling, I'm hiding, I'm sneaking, I'm below notice. Exactly who in the fuck am I stealing this from? And don't tell me a dragon.
You are technically not stealing at all. You see, it's still our goods. It's just that we want to move it so that the Tracorian authorities cannot see it. They will get ever so touchy if anyone goes near that mine. On account of the dragon, see. I see the chat.
Interesting. Give me a few days to reach out to a couple people. Come by here. I'll have an answer for you. I need to see what I can put together. I am on my own business here. I just need a few days to see what forces I can gather.
Of course, of course. I understand your trepidation. We tried about a year ago, and the unfortunate entrepreneur... Well, I'm sure that the dragon did not have to dine on sheep that particular time.
Unfortunate. When we're there, we'll pour some whiskey out for him.
Very well. If you like to add to the offer, us mountain folks are not half bad at smithing, and I'm sure looks over your blade. I'm sure we could arrange something to your liking.
And Malakai has been scribbling stuff down this entire time. I'll take that into consideration. I appreciate you coming to meet me. I look forward to speaking to you in a few days.
Quelmin bows deeply and leaves the office. Meanwhile, in the garrison, or elsewhere, is Malek also going to the garrison?
So Malek is doing what Malek said he was going to do, which is go and get his assistant to go treat the housekeeper.
Yes. That won't take a whole lot of time, but yeah. That's
and then head off to the garrison.
Mm-hmm.
I don't imagine I'm going to get too much more since I have already rolled all of my dice. But you know what the good colonel is likely to be treated to is a lecture no one asked for on sort of the finer points of necrosis and organ decay. Mostly, I just wanted the body, for science.
The colonel will actually commit them to memory so she can use them later to help her torture people better.
Fantastic.
Since it could technically be a new scene, and you will be with the body on a slab and with a bunch of knives and tools, I would allow you to roll again, with bonus dice for the setting. So how about 5 dice this time?
Delightful. Okay, might as well.
Is everyone there as well?
I know I am.
Erald, Lady Taralese?
Lady Taralese is probably gonna just go like, once the lecture starts, it, just walks away to find something much more stimulating to talk about, like the latest gossip, or to see if, shoot, why am I blanking on his name? Vaudeville has
yes.
Come up as he swore he would to talk to the Pro-Creator.
Oh, he has indeed.
Yes, so you can see this particular kind of insect tends to be attracted to bodies when after a certain, about 12 to 24 hours after the time of death. So we can, from this perspective, place the likely events in context.
That is absolutely fascinating. And what would happen if you put that insect on a live being? What would it do to the flesh?
Not terribly much. You see, this is a symbiotic relationship.
Oh, I see.
Although we have to also account for the atmospheric conditions. You see, decay is a very unpredictable process in some respects. A drier environment, lack of direct sunlight, being buried, for instance, all of these affect it. And even then, there is some variance.
Interesting.
I'm glad you think so.
And what does that tell us about this body?
This body.
How long has it been dead, and is it male or female? Is mostly
Timeline
my
is
interest.
outright, I must say. There are some contrary indications, but I believe the body is male. This is an imperfect science in some respects. It is a bimodal distribution. All things come with a range, you see. But if I had to guess, I would say the body is male.
Excellent. And how long would you suggest, or how long would you guess they had been dead?
As I say, the timeline is about right from what we would expect given the fire.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You are most welcome. I'll just finish up here.
Of course.
The major domo of the garrison will approach Erald. Excuse me, sir? Baru Erald? I'm terribly sorry to bother you, and twirls his mustaches again. Because of the recent unfortunate incident with the fire, I'm terribly sorry to have to cause you inconvenience like this, but we will need your quarters, you see, for Bodeville and his household. Could you be so kind as to move? We can set you up with a tent in an appropriate location for someone as your dignity.
Yes. I figured as much at some point, as we are. Yes, Balan and myself will. If you do have a tent, we can easily go ahead and set one up here outside of the garrison grounds. Otherwise, possibly we'll make our way over to Lowtown and see possibly if we can find our abodes there.
Of course. I hear that the tavern is unfortunately completely packed with guests because of the convoy, you understand. Yes. Maybe Master Hilder might be able to assist you with a place over the horses in the stable.
Is this going on in the same room as were you with us with the body?
Just outside, kind of pulled Erald out.
Malek has probably finished his lecture and is now harvesting all of the organs with fairly disgusting and obvious relish.
Praanz seems completely undisturbed, like full straight face.
Yeah, that would be, that's
In fact, she seems more disturbed by the conversation that Erald is having than by Malek dismembering the body.
I imagine Praanz has dismembered a few bodies in her time.
That she has recently. To the point that she leaves the body and comes out into the hallway with a look of disgusted at the rudeness.
So yes, I'm sure we can find room and a board above the horses. And Erald at this point is putting on his best face for the situation that he's been put into.
Praanz just comes up behind him very quietly with that look on her face that she usually gives subordinates that are misbehaving. Is this really necessary? There's not enough room in this area?
I am terribly sorry. And then there is that sort of step for wives blankness. It is terribly necessary. Yes. Colonel.
It's fine, Praanz. It's fine. It's fine.
It just seems awfully rude to kick out a dignified guest after they've already established staying here.
Dignified, says the man.
Yes,
twirls his
dignified.
mustache. He is from Mereld, you know.
I don't care where he's from. He's part of.
It's Praanz. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I know obviously where we're not currently wanted. If you're looking for me, I will be in Lowtown. And Erald will go to his current abode and grab whatever's left of his there.
Yep.
Make sure that Balin's actually got his hand on his hilt the whole time
Yep.
as we're walking out of the garrison.
That is indeed the case. Meanwhile, Lady Taralese is investigating rumors and gossip, right? That's what's going on.
Yes. And of course, go and welcome their new guest, in spite of the unfortunate circumstances he's found himself.
Yeah, I think Taralese will be able to suss out that the seamstress, it's one of those quick glances and maybe refined uses of fans. I'm sure you have a sign language with fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tapping her hand in that way, that means that her connection is no longer listening to her. Socialist or influence.
Very well.
Like, it's a square one type of...
I mean, after that, she doesn't... Well, she has to go change, of course.
Yep.
Her clothes got ruined.
Of course. And she's doing that. Let's see, would this be a time when Malakai comes back to the garrison? Is that what we're saying?
If you are ready for me to be back at the garrison, I'm ready to kick a hornet's nest.
Oh dear. That's... I think you will be returning to the garrison after Erald and Balan leaves. Your meeting with Wellman was not terribly long-winded, after all.
Would I pass him in the street? Because hearing about my dear friend the Inquisitor being out on the streets, I would offer to either rent him a room at the Vulgar Unicorn or put him in billets upon the Reaver's daughter.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that, yeah.
Erald definitely would take up that opportunity.
Where would you prefer to be, the whorehouse or the boat?
Totally the boat.
Okay.
It
I
might
really
just
see a
be
man in the closet at the whorehouse.
a little bit more
You don't
secure.
see them at the whorehouse.
They've got tunnels.
As
Exactly.
you are leaving the garrison, nah, that's all good. Checks my notes. Nah, it's all good.
Not ominous at all.
No,
yeah,
no,
he says
no.
he said that like it's comforting.
Yeah,
No.
I'm all good. I'm fine. You are good too. That's...
We're all good
Uh-huh.
here, friends.
I would see that our dear burn people at the stake folk would be put on a longboat and sent back to something resembling private quarters on the ship. We are kind of a hedonistic lot, so
And
He gets
it's
a curtain.
Caravel, but I guess you could, like, Praanz had a cabin coming here, right?
yeah, I'll put him in Praanz's old cabin.
There you go.
Thank you.
I assume you scrubbed the blood off the floor?
No, the blood on the floor was in my cabin.
All right. Okay, we're fine then.
Yeah, where it should be.
I mean, on a pirate ship, I feel like that's practically decor.
Somebody needed to answer some questions, and they did so very fucking slowly. Their skin now flies from my masthead.
The cuts are excellent.
Malakai isn't a pleasant person.
I'm surprised you didn't crisp it up and have it like chitlins.
What? He fully believes that the skins he collects when he is on becalmed seas, the ghost screams actually push the ship forward. The rest of the meat, he was a little bit gamey. We just threw him overboard.
Also, the pot. You know, there is a pot you can use, I guess.
So yes, Malakai has arrived at the garrison. Is anybody going to give him any flack? Like actually entering?
Not really, no. I think they're just assuming that because he was here during the banquet as well, so you know it's all good now.
I was seen with the upper echelon, so now it's assumed.
Yep.
He will look very lost in this place.
Yeah, it's on land.
It's on land. People aren't screaming. There are no knife fights. It's a strange world.
There's discipline. They're all wearing the same uniform.
We all wear the same war paint.
That's a fair point.
Praanz is going to find Taralese. Can I be running into Malakai on the way?
I guess.
Ah, excellent. Follow me. There's talking we need to do.
Good enough. Hey, a random question.
Yes.
Is there a Tricoran band on going into a Mercury mine because of a fucking dragon?
Not
Is
that
there-
I'm aware of, but I'll have a talk with who I need to have a talk with, then probably have to kill somebody, but it's fine.
I actually remember we bought the fucking Dragon Slayer.
Did we?
Audern! It's what melted half of his
yes.
fucking face!
Yes, we did, didn't we? Sorry, it's been a busy few days, okay?
No shit, who set the fucking house on fire?
I'm tired. Spent all night.
She is tired.
You're
So
lucky.
long-
If I would have set off that fucking part of town, everything would have burnt.
That's why I know it wasn't you.
And I would have been dancing naked in the streets after.
Wait. Again, why I know it wasn't you.
Let's go find Taralese. You look like you could use a fucking nap.
I could, but I've got too much work to do.
As we start wandering off, he'll kind of hook his thumb back at Callista. She got pissed about the little blonde lass. Fucking cut me this morning.
That explains it.
Pronounce a couple of messages there in your...
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, they're not supposed to go fucking with the dragon. It's against the law. Now I remember what you're talking about.
Let's get everybody together, then we'll just talk about everything we need to discuss, because I've had one thing come across my desk that may be a use.
Excellent. All right. How long does it take us to find Lady Taralese?
Oh, it's not a huge garrison, so, 15 minutes or so.
Okay.
I take
You
you
go ahead and
it's
assume
just
everybody
okay.
doesn't include me.
Sorry, what was that?
I said I'm going to go ahead and assume everybody doesn't include me.
No. Probably not this time.
No? Aw.
Will Malek be doing something extra interesting with the body now that Malek is in fact alone with it?
Well, I mean, I was harvesting the organs. The rest can wait.
Okay.
Got other things.
Praanz will be checking for bite marks, likely.
Why am I getting blamed for stuff? I haven't even been in the morgue yet.
I'm not talking about you.
Oh, but as we are walking, the piece of meat that Malakai had pressed to his face, he is now eating raw.
Yes. Again, Praanz is... Your weird shit doesn't bother me anymore.
It's not weird, it's how I was fucking raised. I don't say how you were raised are fucking weird. That's a bit insulting, and I've known you far longer than that.
I imagine they come in arguing about that. Oh, please,
Yes.
dear, I've insulted you far, far worse than that. And you love it.
He's just not used to it from me.
I'm not used to it about my fucking dietary habits.
Well, finish that out in the hallway. Don't bring it in here.
It's not bleeding any fucking more.
I don't care. Outside. Finish eating it outside.
Fucking landlubbers, and he would go outside and just tear through the rest of his state.
Oh, and you confirm that Trevinder was female.
That I couldn't say for certain, but based on the clothes that I found there, and they kept to themselves on the ship. It was rather interesting. They were also rather far too easily insulted. I mean, really, taking things so personal. Especially after they were trying to dress like a Praetorian. But I saw you... he, she, whatever. Trevinder seemed to take quite a bit of interest in Erald last night. You two got to chit-chatting. What was that about?
Trevinder has martial abilities. They were not drunk last night. They were faking it.
Well, I did wonder a little bit when you grabbed my arm like that after looking them over.
Very excellent martial style.
Interesting.
They look drunk, but they can kill you in less than a second. So there's no way that they were drunk enough to knock over a goddamn candle.
Accidents can still happen, but the Silvalum, that certainly means that this certainly was not any kind of accident.
No. And best guess, the body's male.
I'll be honest with you. There's certain records in certain places that'll tell you I've been hung 3 times. I ain't been hung fucking once.
Yes, but you asked us to fake those.
That's fair, but faking a death is a well-known thing.
But more to the point, looking over at the body, the height didn't seem right, the hips didn't seem right,
No.
Same thing with the shoulders, they just didn't seem right.
No.
It's not Trevinder, I know that much.
No,
That
which
leaves a
makes me
creepy-
think Trevinder set up this fire to fake their own death.
Oh,
Don't leave the
certainly.
creepy fuck with the body, did you?
Oh,
I
I
don't
had what I
know.
needed from it. It's not like we're going to keep it. I had what I needed.
What, I didn't think you liked your steaks well done.
No. I mean, I've done some horrible things to a human body, but for some reason, that particular person being left alone with the body, it sends a shiver down my spine.
If it makes you feel better, I'm testing a theory.
And what theory is that?
Far too much perfume.
Some of my men have gone missing with only their feet left.
So the opposite of a foot fetish?
Somebody's been looking for snacks, and it's not Malek.
Are we so certain?
Not Malakai, sorry.
Ah, okay. I was about to say, I mean, either of them really could be the cannibals anyway, but, oh, I see, that's your point.
No,
If I was
testing a
eating
theory.
people, I would tell you I was fucking eating your people.
I know. You know better than to eat my people, or at least the intelligent ones.
Oh, also, dear, really, you must let me, can we get you in some clean clothes, something like that?
Yes, that would be nice, thank you.
And she'll just busy herself going off to find something else that she knows is in Praanz's size. So, what is the plan then?
Well, I need proof of what my men have been disappearing. And I need to find Trevinder wherever they're hiding. If that's not them, then they're my number one suspect.
So do we have any ideas where someone like that might go and hide? I mean, certainly if we think that Trevinder is actually a she, that means that we need to be looking for both genders.
Yes.
Or if nothing else, they like to cross-dress, which really I can't blame them, but their clothes were so shabby. It's such a shame.
If they're smart, they would have gotten out of town. But if they're I don't think they would have. I think they're here for a purpose. I think they're here to take somebody out.
Malakai has a very odd, confused expression on his face, like he's trying to remember something.
There's a chamber pot over there in the corner.
Nah, is this. And a package would be passed to Taralese.
Is this my present?
This is your present.
And she'll hand the clothes off to Praanz, and there's a screen over there. You can change back over there. I think there's still a basin of water too. And she'll take the package and open it up.
Praanz makes her way over to dress behind the screen, but keeping an eye to see, kind of be nosy and see what's in the package.
Red leather-bound ledger book.
Oh.
Oh, you get me the most wonderful things. Well, usually it's things for my sister, but anyway.
Not so bad for somebody that was actually told last night, we're surprised you can speak the common language, you're such a fucking barbarian.
Oh, please, you love being called a barbarian.
And I did take her against the wall later. To which he would suddenly be slapped across the back of the head.
And Taralese will open it up and begin looking over the ledger.
This is economic oversight over the sulfur trade. Volumes, price per unit, the amount of labor force going into producing the output, in some great detail, in fact.
And just to confirm, what is... I assume it has the house crest on it for whichever trade house this is from.
Believe it was our dear friend who just had his house burned down.
Right, but just it has other evidence to say that this is, in fact, Baudeville's.
Yes.
And there's clear and easily to detect malfeasance.
Yes, there will be. There is, the debit and the credit does not add up as it should, let's just say. Someone is charging, shall we say, administrative fees in excess, or such like.
And you will see her sitting on her settee and just kind of occasionally, counting on her fingers, doing some quick abacus math. Like, oh, these books are filthy. Praanz, you should really come look at this. It's so deliciously scandalous.
Oh, do share with the class. Just for a quick aside, what is Praanz wearing now?
Seafoam green.
Actually, she is wearing a lovely burgundy-colored dress because she is intending to go and do bloody things. So might as well dress her in something that will make it easier to clean later.
How covering is it?
It's very much in the latest Praetorian fashion, so not much at all. If she's doing the whole arms crossed over chest thing, Taralese will just kind of roll her eyes and point to a chest where there's some shawls.
Not so much that. You see her shrug a jacket on or something over her back.
Ah, right. Yeah.
It's kind of chilly today to wear next to nothing. A nice fur would not go amiss.
Fashion is pain.
That's a fair point.
But yes, let's do share with the class. So, Praanz will come over and also take a look at the ledger. Excellent. I can arrest that annoying little ass.
No. We need to have some patience. You said you're very familiar with that, no?
I am.
And besides, I think we need to bring in someone who knows a little bit more about numbers and how to trap someone about that. Nin is a wonderful accountant.
You have a forensic bean counter.
And she is kind of watching Praanz's reaction when she mentions Nin.
Praanz just kind of tilts her head and goes, "Oh, really?"
Well, yes, she is here on part of the Pold Aurochs. Certainly, she would take an interest in this as well.
Oh, I'm sure she would be very interested.
How empty is this room?
That's up to you guys.
I think it's just the three of us, isn't it?
There might be a lady in waiting or something like that hanging around a bit, but she can easily shoo them off.
Malakai would point at the lady in waiting. Fuck off!
No, dear.
I got something to say, and it's one of those things, if I say it, it comes out, somebody's gonna end up fucking dead. I'm trying to save the poor girl's life. Let me do my civic responsibility.
Tell us though, would you be a doll and join her out there? Keep her company. Don't worry, I've gotten some practice with slapping people if needed.
To which Callisto bust out laughing. Once the room is clear, Malakai would turn to Praanz. The books are fake as fuck. I had
Yeah, I
him dreamt
assumed
the
that.
fuck up. This woman's fucking bothering you. If she's jockeying for a position or something, you can use them to burn her the fuck down.
Now, let's play nice. I rather like her. If nothing else, she was a breath of fresh air on that ship.
We had a fucking party every night on my ship.
So did we. Actually, there was a wonderful little tune we did that Travinder was making, pacing around above us all the time. Could almost dance to it. Certainly much better than that god's awful metal music we were hearing.
I still got one question from the big feast we had last night. Why didn't nobody dance on the fucking table? It's not a good party till you dance on the fucking table.
Why weren't you
Or fuck
dancing
on the
the
fucking
table?
table.
Why
Because
weren't
she
you
said she
dancing?
wanted to go outside.
Not with the eyes you were giving her. You know very well, I've seen the parties you go to.
Guilty as charged. You said you wanted her to commit social suicide, not her slit her wrist in the morning.
Well, in any case, this is something that's good to have as leverage if we want. Later.
Agreed. I have another question. What the hell is up with the servants in the garrison? Something's wrong.
Yes. I told Erald he may want to look into it. I think it's entirely
just-
possible.
Kicked him out for vaudeville.
Oh, something like that? Oh, darling. He's so low ranking, I'm not surprised. What, did you think that they would kick you or me out before they'd kick him out to make room? It's not because he is Inquisition. Well, it is because he's Inquisition, but it's because he's common.
He'll be staying on the Reaver's Daughter going forward.
Speaking of which, what will Erald be doing as he has installed himself in the Reaver's Daughter?
He very much will be getting adjusted to life on a pirate ship, quite literally, and making his ways as friendly as possible with those on Reaver's Daughter, and trying to figure out where everything is and common area versus stay the fuck out this Malakai's area. Simple as that. And once he makes his adjustments and has an opportunity to put his items within the hold or what have you, or his room, then at that point he probably will make his way back to shore.
All right. Yeah, it's not going to take too long. I'm sure you're back for lunch at the very least. It's going to be a bit awkward, of course, being on the pirate ship. I have a feeling that there is more than one person here who is a Lavina worshipper, given you know, where they're from, being cargo mission and so on. And that's a bit awkward for an Inquisitor, but the captain has said that you're welcome, so no one is going to doubt that. Kakiba the Wolfkin is probably going to make sure that the crew knows what's what, and to give you all the accommodations of a guest.
There would be a very growly speech.
This. Yeah. Treat him as a packmate.
Do you have a quick question? With the glassy-eyed looks at the garrison, would that read to Malakai that they're just stoned?
Say again?
The glassy-eyed looks on the people at the garrison that they're talking about, would he read that as them being under the influence of some kind of narcotic or something? In an attempt to relate it to something that he would understand.
Maybe, yeah. If he picks up on it, like, I mean, it was pointed out, so maybe he will pick up on it, and probably, yeah, some kind of narcotic. Did they get some zombie this morning? Well, it's not going to be zombie, because they would be even worse off than that, but something, maybe.
I'm sorry, Josh, I didn't mean to step on your brother.
No, you're good, yeah, no, Erald's, as awkward as it might be that there's a Levino worshiper on the boat, he doesn't really care. He's more bigger fish, and he understands the relationship that him and Malakai have. So, you know, he's not going to document this Levino worshiper and not really worry about it.
And it'll be much harder to slit your throat in your sleep when you're on Malakai's boat.
That's exactly the main thing that I'm concerned about at this point, yes. At least if my throat's being slit, I know possibly who's doing it. But yeah, so he would make his way back over from the boat, probably sometime towards the afternoon.
Very well. Meanwhile, in a different part of town, let's see now. I don't know. Malek is. Oh, there we go. There we go. Meanwhile, the others, you have been plotting and planning and scheming in the garrison. Did you want to? Because you mentioned Nin. Is this a connection to Nin? Are you going to approach Nin?
Yes, definitely take the books to. Taralese will quietly take the books to her.
Very well.
I mean, if Praanz or Malakai try to follow her, she's not going to fight it, but...
Well, Malakai has other things to discuss, so yeah, he will kind of roll with the group.
Yeah, Praanz wasn't quite finished talking, although I do suggest that we stop talking in the garrison as much and maybe start holding our meetings elsewhere.
I have a perfectly nice office.
You do.
Might be a better place to scheme and plot than here. I don't...
just before you go ahead with that, because I'm getting a message. Malek, did you want to do a quick scene on that topic?
I wouldn't mind. It would also be hilarious if we ended up there at the same time.
It would. You will find that particular person sitting by the ledgers, as so many other times.
Oh, Nin, darling. How are you today?
Looks up, kind of bored. Well, I am feeling like you look.
Feeling like I look? Whatever do you mean, darling? I look fabulous.
Oh, my mistake. I thought you had taken some... From yesterday.
What?
You did not partake with the pirates' revelries, then?
Oh, certainly not. It's not my scene. I mean, I've engaged and dabbled in such things from time to time. Who hasn't? But really, no.
At any rate,
But what about you, darling? You heard
The
about
fuck-
that fire, right?
You fuckers realize I'm a privateer, not a fucking pirate. I'm under contract with the fucking Circlorian Navy. I just use better tactics.
We know what you are, darling. Don't worry.
A pirate with a leash. Yes.
indeed we do. Says Nin with, particularly salty tone. I have found something interesting, though.
Oh, do
lady.
tell.
Well,
And she'll find something to sit on and kind of scoot closer.
pushes away one of the books. This has less to do with the books than with other things.
Oh, what other things?
I've been, had a chance to leave the garrison this morning early on. Even I have to go buy some groceries from the market, of course. Any excuse to leave. I am getting more and more convinced that it was the Kmorda druids who smuggled those weapons.
Oh, really? And what makes you think that?
Well, the archaeological expedition. Well, I still need to find evidence. We're still waiting for Gotthard's Reavers to get back word. They haven't returned yet. But they were not. There is a path north when they leave. I talked to people in the tavern quickly, try to find out more about this expedition. They said they were going north to explore this expedition, but were they really? I don't know about that, you see. I think maybe that's not the only... That path does not just go north, it goes northeast too. It goes to the Kmorda Druid's temple. So either you go to the excavation site, or you go to the temple. Isn't that an interesting coincidence? She's holding the pen as she's waving it about, the quill.
She does blink a little patiently at her, and you do know there was that little redhead that they were so excited about and getting so close to, right?
I think she is the brains behind the whole smuggling operation.
Just blink. Blink. That little green... She was so wet behind the ears, I'm surprised she wasn't dunking her head in the ocean every day.
Maybe she's just a mule then. Maybe she doesn't even know. But she did... Why would she go with an archaeological expedition?
Well, you said it goes in the same direction, no? So what if they were taking her to the temple to return her back to her... What was it she kept rambling about? Her glacier?
Yes. Well, wouldn't that be the perfect cover? They might have had connections with Kmorda druids in Tresilver. Remember how she spoke about her mentor who died so unfortunately in a sickness in the imperial capital? I think that was not just dying unfortunately of a disease. I think maybe the Digeta Longa points towards the colonel, found out about a conspiracy and took out her mentor, who was the real brains behind all of this. But by that time, the shipment was already arranged and going to the convoy.
I'm aware I'm viewed as a low-born savage, but explain one thing to me. I keep hearing, I think, or in my opinion, but I'm not hearing anything that's... What do you call it? They use it to fuck you in court trials.
Evidence.
Evidence.
Well, I don't have the shipment here, do I? I have ledgers and I have rumors from town, and that's it.
So, Praanz, is there any way that we could find out if there was a certain hit put out for a certain wayward druid?
I can check through some offices and archives and see if it was on us, but
Well,
I think I would know if it was.
Well, how often does the left hand actually know what the right hand is doing?
There is a knock on the door.
On occasion.
That would be your cue, Malek, if you want.
I see you're otherwise engaged. Very popular. I'm not surprised.
Now, this is something I didn't foresee happening. I'm surprised you'd be worried about the books at all.
Oh no, I've been helping.
Really now? And she'll look down at Nin.
Nin looks... I work with everyone here in the colony.
Interesting.
You just telling me what a brilliant mathematician she was, Taralese?
Mathematician. Didn't say anything about her social skills.
She is indeed a brilliant mathematician. It's nice to meet somebody with such a high level of education. Always pleasant to speak with.
So you just come in here to have, what, academic discussions over tea? Something like that?
No, I was looking to see how things were going, if I could be of any further assistance.
And why would a healer be interested in making sure that the garrison's finances are in order?
I'm merely a public-spirited individual.
Is this a water roll here we have? I have a feeling that there's a water roll here coming, which unfortunately might not be Malek's strength in the world. Why don't you, Taralese, are you trying to, is this a Machinator Insight roll here?
Yes. Very much so.
Earn that paycheck. Earn that paycheck.
Earn that
Yeah.
paycheck. Okay, I will have you roll your 2 water plus a fate die for your Machinator. So that's 3. However, Malek will roll 1 die for water, but also get 1 bonus die for Taralese's fear from this morning, since we haven't had the chance to shake that yet. So 2 dice for Malek.
Against how many? Is Taralese rolling? I'm trying to figure out if I need to spend
Taralese
dice
rolled
here.
3. She has 1 success at this point.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, I imagine Malek actually isn't used to being challenged all that much.
That
So
would probably be true, yeah.
I'm just gonna roll my my 2 dice and see how this goes for me.
Does outnumbered count for anything?
Ah, crap.
Never mind, I saw the roll. Outnumbered doesn't need to matter.
Yeah, this isn't Malek's forte at all.
I'm just I'm trying to see if I have any relevant experiences. Probably not, but give me a moment here. Let's see. I mean, he does have a habit of working late in the office, so like it isn't completely implausible that, you know, I might have just been around.
Why would a healer be in the accounting office?
Which is precisely what I'm wondering about. It's interesting that you would engage with an interloper, so to speak. Because I imagine the garrison makes many, many donations. I mean, I've heard that. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on names? Oh. The wife.
Cilicia.
Cilicia. I've heard that Cilicia is rather invested in your healing group.
She has been very kind, often does invite me to her gatherings, which I so appreciate. It's always nice to meet new people. As for why I was here while I was attending the banquet, same as you all.
Certainly. That would explain last night, but your familiarity with men, that's... You two weren't particularly chatty, especially since you never really moved.
As I mentioned, I've been assisting as best I can.
I mean, really, you were rather dead silent the whole time.
I must confess, large gatherings are not something I'm terribly used to.
Clearly you're fucking allergic to answering a fucking straight question as well.
Oh, no,
Another
no,
time,
Malek.
then. Take care. And I'm just gonna walk off.
We've talked about this, Malakai. You can't go scaring them off like that.
She was
At least not
basi-
until Tarese's done with them.
They were basically pissing on your fucking boot. You're asking very reasonable fucking questions, and they were tap dancing around them like they were on a fucking bar.
Yes, and the more questions that we ask them, the more we know that they're not willing to talk about.
You know, there's another angle we can play on this.
Maybe
And
we
it
should
di-
have this discussion somewhere else.
At that moment, both Callisto and Malakai turn, looking rather directly at Nin.
What? She says.
Clearly, I've got too heavy of a fucking hand. Would you like to do it?
I was looking through my numbers. What was that? She doesn't have glasses. Sorry.
Note to self, just start cutting people.
Now, none of that. Not here. And she'll kind of wave at him a little bit.
I am an inquisitora for the Porta Arux. I run accounts. I do numbers. That is what I do.
Praanz is giving her that subordinate who fucked up look again.
Less interested in the fact you're doing numbers, more interested why Shagulites got their nose up your arse.
Everybody has that.
Yes, but what precisely were they?
The lifeblood of this colony is the sulfur and the accounts. If I find irregularities here, I am sure anyone with power around here will find it interesting. And who do you think has power around here aside from the Procurator?
Yes, the Shagulites. But more to that point, what exactly were they asking you about?
All sorts of nonsense like you just heard, really.
Nonsense.
Yes. Nothing particularly, significant. I'm gonna roll a water for her here. Dang it! She has lost her composure.
I wonder why.
It's Praanz's glare.
And then Taralese is doing the...
I'm even using one of the GM fate dice for this one.
Jess, I do think she also lives in mortal fear of Malakai eating her.
Yeah.
That could be the case, yes.
So we've got good cop, bad cop, cannibal cop.
Yes, that's pretty much what we got.
Little does she know, Praanz will simply tenderize her for Malakai.
Yes, that's probably the case. Meanwhile,
Back at the ranch.
we have Erald and Balan getting ashore again. I'm sure you're going to have lunch at some point. This group of intrepid investigators into the colony's finances. Erald and Balan will get ashore again and start their way up through the alleys, through town, when you see someone sort of stumbling towards you well into their cups in very torn up clothes. And suddenly there is more of them. 2 more who come from another direction. And they have clubs.
Yeah, let's get physical.
Yeah, let's get physical.
I expected this before getting on the boat.
It came afterwards. I'm just gonna put like that. There's in fact 3 of them.
I'm assuming they are relatively distanced from where my boys were in the longboat, yes?
Yes, they will be that.
I was trying, Josh.
Listen, if I survive this, I know where I'm going.
So they will, try to hit you. There's 3 of them. Who are they going for first? I guess 2 of them are going for Balan and 1 is going for Erald.
Yep.
That's... Well, what does Erald have in terms of... I'm going to allow you to have recuperated your fear, actually, because you were on the Reaver's Daughter, so you're fully healed, as it were. But...
Erald's got his quarterstaff.
Yes, you have your quarterstaff, so you actually get the advantage of the weapon bonus. That gives you 4 dice to roll, because you do have your fire. While this guy only has 2 dice, because he doesn't get the bonus from his weapon. He just has a short club. So he will attack this time, and that's a 6. Can you get more with your 4 dice? And that's 3 successes. That's more than his 6. So yes, you win, and you... what does this look like? The ruffian comes there with a club, you do what?
Yep, so Ruffian starts coming towards me with a club, and the act that Erald basically has been putting on the whole time of this frail man basically puts his quarterstaff to the ground and takes him straight in the side of the head with the tip of the quarterstaff.
And he stumbles back, steps. Let's see, how much does the quarterstaff do in damage again? Did I put that in? No, I didn't. That's silly of me. Should have done that before. Yes, sorry about that, but that shouldn't be too hard to find out. There we go, staff. Yeah, it does the 1. So yeah, he's stumbling back. You're gonna have another bonus die for his damage next turn, when you are the attacker. Balan, however, is facing 2 opponents. Balan does have a sword, but it's not out yet, so they will have the advantage now. So that gives them 4 dice, because they have a weapon, there's 2 of them, and Balan doesn't have a weapon. You will roll for Balan, of course, and you can roll 3 dice. It's either stone or fire, whatever. So they are not terribly skilled at this, apparently. But that's even, which means that... Oh, you can add a fate die from Erald's pool, because Balan uses your fate dice to add swordplay to the mix if you want to have another die.
If it's... I apologize here, Mikael. If it's tie, is it just basically they just bounce, or is it actually still deal?
That is to their advantage, because they're the attackers right now.
Okay.
But they only do 1 point of damage, and the armor will soak it up, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay, yep, so I'll just let it armor soak it up.
Okay, so
Question.
What does this look like? Yeah, go ahead, Rook.
With the aggressor, it's the aggressor in the entire situation that gets the ties, or the aggressor in that particular turn?
In that turn.
As in, it was Balan's turn, so he was the aggressor.
Now it was their turn because they were attacking, right? And next
Okay.
turn,
Yep.
Balin will be the aggressor, and then he'll have advantage. So what does this look like? 2 ruffians come up against Balin. Balin doesn't have the sword up yet.
Yeah,
They
so he's
strike.
probably awkwardly trying to pull the sword and
Yeah.
dancing between the clubs.
Exactly, but the club's impact against the leather harness and doesn't
Yep.
really do any damage. So now you are the attacker, Erald. You have your 4 dice still, but being the attacker, you win on a tie. You have 5 dice, in fact, because you've already hurt this guy.
Okay. So, yep, he'll try and maybe sweep a leg.
Yeah, go ahead. I have no successes at all. And wow, that is hurtful.
Cave his skull in, why don't ya?
Put him in a body bag, Johnny.
Yeah, that was.
Sweeps
4
the leg, and whenever he
successes
falls
and 2
down, maybe he hits a
sixes.
rock on the back of his head.
That's
Here, I was worried about you.
That's 3 points of damage to this guy. Yeah, what happens to this guy? In fact, if you want to give...
Sweeps the leg clean off.
Yes, absolutely. Can take 3 hits before they're broken, so at 3 they're broken. You gave him 1 last turn, that's 3 more, so if you want to use one of those extra to hit one of the guys Balin is facing, you're free to do so.
Yeah, maybe that's exactly the case. He sweeps the leg in such a force that basically you hear an audible snap, and
Yep.
the quarterstaff continues to go into the next one that Balin's facing.
Oh, yeah, and they don't have armor, so that's absolutely true. That means that Balin can attack now with a sword, which gives Balin the advantage with the weapon, so they don't get their weapon die anymore. So 3 plus 1 for the weapon is 4, plus 1 for one of them hurt, 5 dice for Balin. Do you want to use your fate die for Balin's sword plate?
I will not at
Balin
this time.
also gets an extra die for being specialist with broadsword, so 6 dice with Balin for the expertise.
Jiminy Christmas!
That's bad for poor stuff.
And another one bites the dust.
Yeah, they are. They have 3 dice now because there's 2 of them.
You got some competition for mass murdering there, Praanz.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is nothing.
That was, well, it was a success, but there's 3 for Balin. Balin is an expert swords master, clearly. How does this look like? That's 3 successes on top of the damage of the actual sword. 3 crits on top of the damage of the sword, and a sword does 2, I believe. So that would be 5. You can kill one of them and maim the other.
Yeah, so possibly what happens is exactly that. Balin manages to finally get his sword out and sweeps one straight from side of stomach all the way through, and then into the shoulder of the other.
Yup. Indeed. So, sword... no, it only does the 1 damage, so sorry about that. Unless...
I just imagine Balin being like,
Yeah.
finally!
Yeah, 4
He's been
damage,
bored the
3
whole
on
time.
one, and 1 on the other, who is now almost dead. Do you want to kill them, or just...
No, they're assaulting me in the middle of the street. They will die in the middle of the street.
Yeah, 1 is dead, the other is dreadfully injured. And will probably try to run away, because...
Definitely makes you want to duel Balin.
Yeah, this guy will want to try to run away. I'm gonna roll a fire roll for that. Do you want to stop them from running away?
Yep.
Okay. I'll roll 2d6 for this guy. That's 1 success. You get to roll 5 dice because they're that level of hurt. And you have 3 fire, so...
I'd love to question at least one of them.
Yeah, this guy does not get away because you have 2 successes. If you want to do a slash with that sword...
I want to deal, if it's possible, non-lethal. Because to the point that Praanz was mentioning here a moment ago, I would like to question who sent this.
Yep.
If you cut off a leg, it prevents them from running away.
2 feet almost.
Even just a foot.
mean, give him an inch, they'll take a foot.
You roll 3 plus 3 for your blood, 1 for your specialist, 1 for your broadsword. So that's 5 plus 2 for the damage. 7 dice against this poor bastard, who only gets 2 dice to defend themselves. Yeah, that's done. Gonk. Basically, Balin can just smack them over the head with the flat side of the sword, and this guy goes down.
Perfect. I look at Balin and say, "Put him on your shoulder. We're going to Lowtown."
Yep, Balin will do that. So now you see that the Inquisition is not without protection. That expertise.
They are the protection.
Yeah, that expertise, Erald the Last Airbender, that expertise with weapon expertise is very, very powerful. That extra die,
Yes.
without having to spend fate dice. So Erald could have added another fate die to all this and just didn't need to. Mooks do not do well against Balin. So yeah, you will be going up towards the garrison with someone over Balin's shoulder then, I guess.
I was planning, because of the fact that the because of the treatment that I got at the garrison, actually, if anything, Erald would not be heading back that way.
Okay. To the office then. Malakai's office.
Yep, that works.
That
It would
works.
either be there or back, I guess, either Lowtown, there, or back to the ship. But, yeah, I guess maybe we'll go to Malakai's office. Give him a little surprise.
Very good.
I think it's fresh meat.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Have I become body disposal?
Yes.
Maybe.
You are our pen of pigs.
Actually, this brings up a really interesting question. How does the Inquisition feel about cannibals?
That is an interesting question. Probably not so good, yeah.
Okay.
You did seem perturbed when I told you that Malek might be eating my men.
Yeah.
But he showed me hospitality, so, you know, it's one of those things if it goes away.
It's
Malakai's a nice guy. He's just from a different culture.
That's exactly the case.
I'm not entirely sure that it's being in tune with the natural rhythms of nature to eat your own kind as a human.
I mean,
It's the circle of life.
If you
I was nice to you when you first showed up too. Didn't stop you taking a swing at me.
Reduce, recycle, reuse. I mean,
Exactly.
Malek obviously is on board for that.
I mean, it's if Malakai happened to be overgrown praying mantis, it would be perfectly natural to eat your own kind. But he's, human.
Yeah. Okay.
It all has to be according to, in tune with the will of the gods, if you will.
Rook's got that look like, mostly human.
No,
If you look at the teeth, I maybe have piranha.
Kakima, not so much human. Marsh folk, people like the Moggers, not entirely human. Malakai?
I'm just a barbarian.
Yeah.
We only need to burn them at the stake if they're not useful?
There you go. It is
Yeah,
Erald who makes it is Erald who technically makes the decision about who is anti-creationist and needs to be purged by Balin for that.
Excellent. He is not, because of the fact that I know that he's put me up room and board.
Exactly.
He's still
helping the
useful
Inquisition. There you
for
go.
now.
He's an arm of the Inquisition right now.
Yes.
Ordo Hereticus.
So over at the vulgar unicorn, Will Malakai also be there? What's happening at the garrison now with the rest of you all?
We were discussing, we've got dragon slaying contracts to discuss. We don't feel secure at the garrison anymore because fuck the garrison and the Stepford wives. So I think we were heading back to the office.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I also need to discuss the possibility of Nin being a fucking traitor.
So I guess you're not bringing Nin then to the office.
Would Nin go anywhere with Malakai?
Yeah, only if you want her to. As far as Nin is concerned, her job is right there with the ledgers.
You would if Praanz drug her by the ear.
Yes. Praanz, why don't you roll a water roll? I'm gonna roll for Nin.
Do I get to add anything to that?
Not
For
really,
being
no.
her technical boss?
No.
What is my water?
Are you trying to order her to go to the...
Oh no, I don't want her with us.
No, there you go. No, this is more for just you reading Nin's mood.
Oh, okay, what is my water? Because it's still blacked out.
Yeah, I know, I need to fix that. I still haven't... I don't even know how to fix it properly, but that's okay. 2.
I've 100% been going off my sheet from the Discord. Half of mine's blacked out too.
Yeah, it's something bugged with the PDF. That's even Steven. Exactly even Steven, in fact. I'm gonna say that Nin is the initiator in this case, so draw goes to her. You cannot read her face.
An experience, maybe?
I don't think you have an experience that is social.
Nin is weirdly hard to read. Like, hasn't almost everybody failed this roll against her at some point?
Yep.
at
maybe
some
the
point.
first one, in fact, Praanz.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, okay. Let's do that. Check that
Okay.
off and re-roll your 2 dice. You do need the 2 successes to get through her, though.
I got a success, but it was a 6.
You know what? I can be a kind-hearted person and say that you just re-rolled the 3 instead of the 4 in both of them.
Okay.
And give you that because I'm nice.
I would like that.
She's trying very hard to keep her composure. You can tell that she wants to be in the room where it happens, where all of you are plotting and scheming, but she is also trying to maintain her, shall we say, cover. So she is staying by her ledgers, as she has to.
Oh, sweetie, your cover's fucking blown. Your cover was blown the moment you came to talk to me. Oh, that's fine. She can stay here. I don't want her with us.
Yeah, she's very frustrated over this fact. But that might give you a sense of victory, so there you go.
How's Taralese feel? Does she want Nin to come? Maybe ask her a couple pointed questions?
No, not after how she's seeing the setting of the order going on between those two. No, she'll save that for later.
I think I'm gonna give Praanz a fate die here for fulfilling destiny, because you are being very unflinchingly upright and unbending, like an oak facing a storm right now. It's one of those more subtle destinies that kind of take on a little bit. It's not as dramatic as some of the others, maybe. But just to give credit where credit is due.
Yay!
Yay. There we go. Yeah, so you all go down to the office then. This will be a whole scene because all of you are assembled there, except for Malek, who is obviously not a part of this particular group of intrepid investigators.
So everybody's left Nin alone, is what I'm hearing?
Yes! I wonder what Malek might use this opportunity for.
Sorry, dude, you seem like a very fun person, but you are like... All of our characters are kind of against you.
I wonder why that could be.
Oh yeah, I know.
Straight up, too much perfume. Fills the room. It kills the mood. Makes me want to cough. That's my only issue.
Erald, I'm giving you a fate die for ridding the land of anti-creationists. I'm guessing that you can guess that those hoodlums were not just there to attack and rob you?
Yeah, 100%.
And ridding the land is what you did, so there we go. Hardly high-ranking anti-creationists of any sort, but there was something fishy going on, so... Alright, so there you are in the office. Take it away.
Oh, look, you brought presents.
What is that, a one-legged fucker in my office?
Erald, you've got a little something there on your, and she's kind of pointing up and down his, I'm assuming blood-spattered robes after he bludgeoned a guy to death.
Hey, it's new this season.
That's why Taralese gave me the red dress.
It's hypercolor.
Yes. So after visiting your boat, which by the way is an experience for those that haven't been aboard, so Malakai, A1. Thank you again for room and board.
Well, the purpose was to keep you from getting beaten in the fucking streets. Clearly I fucking failed there.
No, you didn't fail. That's the key part. Is I didn't get beaten in the streets. Balin and myself beat the shit out of people in the streets. There's a difference. This fellow right here, and pointing towards the body, who is missing a foot, by the way.
Yeah, we got him good, says Balin, in his Shalkland accent.
Malakai will turn and look at Vala. You ever given any consideration to dragon hunting?
I'm a
I
loyal
told you,
soldier of the Inquisition.
you can't kill that dragon.
Question.
There's money on the line.
Dragons?
It's
Not
against the law.
creationists?
I would have to arrest you.
Hold on. It's also against the law to kill people, yet you do that all the time. I think we're beyond such niceties. Anyways, I think we need to start from the beginning and then go to the end. So, Malakai, actually, you know what? Never mind. Praanz, you first.
I don't like the fact that Din's working with Malek, and the entire garrison seems to be reporting to him.
Yeah, I'm not going back to the garrison, but there's something going on there. I just haven't gotten on the property yet.
Yeah, I don't like it. Something is wrong.
I think
They're
Nin...
too glazed.
Yes, Nin herself, I think, is fine. But it is very interesting, the interest that he's taken in.
Yes.
She, Malek has taken in them.
And Nin's being extra stupid, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Well,
she
no.
was far better at Smickleboard before last night.
Okay, well, now that it's been mentioned multiple times here across the fact of the whole pan face, can I put two and two together here and make a magic-esque investigation roll?
That's not a bad idea. Why not? I mean, you're not terribly adept at this kind of thing, to be honest.
No, that's where I was wondering if it was even feasible.
I could give you... So this isn't reading people, but if you spend a fate die, I would allow you to roll wind plus a fate die for your machinator ability to just... Because this is really about reading their machinations, right? This is about intrigues. And even if you're not the greatest Sherlock Holmes ever, you've seen people do things, so that could work.
Okay. So, I apologize, that was wind.
So 2 dice then.
Okay.
I'll give you this.
So yes, it definitely seems like it might be magic causing their
Strong
deadpan.
enough to take over the whole garrison?
Could be. I've heard of it. I haven't seen it experienced personally.
Would this be the kind of magic that Malek might have?
Well, so that's the interesting part. And at this point, I look back over at the still unconscious, or is it partially conscious now at this point?
Partially conscious, slowly but surely.
I look over at Malakai and say, I'm assuming a man of your stature probably knows how to get information out of people. And then also I look over at Praanz.
I was going to say, you're asking the wrong person. If you're looking for torture, you can ask the questions and I'll do the torture if you prefer.
Really simple. You just asked that same question. Was this Malek?
Okay. Is he awake?
Yeah.
Oh, he's awake. I was going to slap him awake. Sorry. So I look at him and ask him, the magic that's taken over the garrison, is it Malek?
What?
Do you work for Malek?
What? No.
Then who do you work for?
I guess this is another one of those water rolls we need. But I'm gonna give a bunch of advantages now because, everyone. So that's, you have 2 die. Is anyone going to assist Praanz with this?
Oh,
Taralese is definitely watching him.
Malakai's
roll
got
your wind to watch him.
Malakai definitely has out a skinning knife and is making some threatening motions.
Roll your stone to intimidate him.
Stone.
Add 1 for the knife, so 3 dice. Ooh, nice. That gives Praanz 2 extra dice, and Taralese gives Praanz another die. So that's 3 dice in total to Praanz in doing this investigation. So you have 5 dice in total. That works. It's a crit on one of them. This guy is looking first at Praanz and then at Malakai. Not at all at Lady Taralese, because clearly Lady Taralese is not a threat at all. But she can pick up 1 or 2 things from the flinching. No, there was someone just walked up to me and looked me in the eyes, and then I don't know where am I? What am I doing here? Why?
Who was it?
I was very fishy person, dressed, had a hood. I can only remember the eyes, really. I think it was someone with a beard, long mustaches, dressed, sounded Paratornian to me.
Let's see if this makes anything a little clearer.
What? What was that?
I said, let's see if this makes your memory a little clearer. She takes off the tip of his pinky.
Once she's done with it, and Taralese's just like, oh, couldn't you wait a second? And she says, you said the mustache. And she'll describe the Major Domo. Because you said he has a mustache, correct?
Yes. No, not him, I don't think. Well, maybe, I don't, it was a hood.
A mask?
No mask. He looks very scared, this guy.
So, does not remember anything. Clearly affected by some type of magic.
Erald, can you describe me their fighting style?
Drunken stumbles. Actually, would probably be the best.
Yeah, that's probably the best way of describing it. Taralese, you... Yeah.
Do they fight like Trevinder did?
Yeah, I would probably say if Trevinder was absolutely drunk and, yeah. But there was 3 of them.
He wasn't present for the drunk fighter conversation.
He was at the ball.
Honestly, don't remember much of the ball.
I don't imagine you do.
You'll see Taralese just kind of get up and get real close to his face, kind of looking him in the eye, tilting her head from side to side.
I can get a spoon and pop him out if you want a closer look.
No, it's... Oh, it's what I was wondering if perhaps it was.
What is it?
Well, congratulations, holy man. You've killed innocent men.
Don't worry about it. It's called a fucking Tuesday.
Yes. I know you don't care about such things, and I'm going to take a wild guess, Praanz. You have no issues with such things either. But anyway, someone like you, I suspect that you'll lose some sleep over it, but that's not the intention of my comment. The intention of my comment is that this man is under some kind of influence, and it's not Zambine.
You know what it is?
She'll kind of... edge of her mouth will kind of quirk up in a smirk. Why, magic, darling.
The same magic at the garrison?
If I were to hazard the guess, most likely.
Erald,
Hence-
you just see the smile go from on Erald's face as he may or may not have agreed with his suspicion all along.
You seem rather happy for having killed a bunch of innocent people.
They were not innocent, says Balan. They were anti-creationists. They attacked the Inquisitor. That is unholy.
We simply defended ourselves, he says and stands up a little bit straighter.
Yeah.
Innocent man or guilty man, they were dead as soon as they threw the first fucking blow.
Yeah, listen
Yes.
to the privateer.
But they didn't throw their first blow of their own volition. I'm sorry, let me use a smaller word for you, Balan. They didn't do it of their own will.
No, but to the Inquisition,
The
self-defense is self-defense.
slow turning wheels that are in desperate need of greasing.
Is there any way to get the image out of his head of who this might be? Obviously, there's no torture in the world that's going to make him spit it up, because he can't remember.
There is one way.
Erald at this point will actually walk out and say, Belen, follow me. And walks out of the room.
Josh, I love you sometimes.
You're welcome.
An Inquisitor who understands the necessities of life.
That's exactly it.
I
There's
mean-
that very fine line.
You could stay in the room, make a mess of things, and get all provoked and stuff, and get a fate die for your Bane activating.
Yep. Nope.
We're behind the 8 ball in the game of shadows. We're trying to make up for it here.
Point. I have to be the temptation, right?
The temptation is actually that Erald goes outside and tries to explain this to Balan the best way he can. That what we did was okay to do.
Okay.
Mongo is pawn in game of life.
Exactly.
Hey, Sin, if you would like to
Yes, she's going to give a rather sour look to
Callisto
Praanz.
will help you.
Yeah. She will definitely accept the assistance, considering this is a little bit more delicate work, so to speak.
Is she going to use her, shall we say, unique abilities in this case?
Yes.
I knew I liked you for a reason, lady.
Very well.
You say that
You have
now.
to spend a fate die and
Oh, I'm not
roll,
part of the Inquisition. I don't give a shit if you use magic.
4 dice in total. The last die on the row is just the fate die in question. Which has significance, because if it's a 1, it might be a bad thing.
Can I do assistance?
No.
Okay.
As long as you are aiding the Empire, that's my only concern.
That is... Oh, the last one is a 1.
But can I use one of my experiences to reroll it?
You should be able to, yes. Let's have a look.
I think having been previously caught, having to learn how to
Yes.
fine-tune my abilities.
Very good. Do you want to re-roll the 2 ones then, perhaps?
Yes.
Very good. Oh, really?
Ah,
That's
Wow.
terrible. Okay. On the other hand, what is the good news in this is because you only have a single power level for this, because that's all you have at this moment. It gets worse when you have 2 power levels and stuff, right? Have a look. Because you only have the 1/1. You do have a 4 and a 6, so you do succeed with what you're doing. So there's no magic mishap for this. You're not gonna get exhaustion or anything like that happening for you, which is a good thing. But you get a 1, so you will gain 1 point of reputation because now people know, Praanz knows, and word might spread. There might be whispers about your abilities.
Praanz ain't gonna tell shit.
That's infamous as a terrifying and despicable sorcerer. That's the result of having the 1 on when you're casting
Because there's an Inquisitor outside the door.
Yeah. And Balin might finally connect the dots, I guess, and go like, "Oh, this is." But
that'll be 3 months from now while he's doing his morning routine. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. But somehow it leaks out, right? Someone will spill the beans on this sooner or later. But yes, you do gain access to his mind, and you can see there a picture.
She's going to stand there and just... Ah, so sloppy.
Care to share with the class?
Oh, really? It's exactly who we thought it was.
Malek.
Precisely.
Excellent.
But remember, we need to be very careful with this. They have a lot more sway here than you do.
They do, so far.
Remember, they have both the government and also the common people on their side right now. You have a little bit more with the government, less so with the common people right now.
The government I'm not concerned about. Worst case scenario, I can simply take the town under military control.
I found that that probably won't work so well. But, I mean, that's ultimately your decision, I suppose. I don't know that it's necessarily the best one, but
It's not something we need to do right now. We're not quite that far.
nope. Anyway, Malakai, you want to go get them?
Malek will stick his head up there. Are you done with your conversation? We'd love for you to rejoin us.
Yeah. At this point, heads upstairs. into the room. So, what did we find out?
Oh, it's most definitely Malek.
Aha!
Now that doesn't mean go on your crusade and go burning people at the stakes right now.
Our dear lady cautions patience.
While this conversation is going on, Malakai busies himself choking the prisoner to death.
All right.
After everything you knew.
If you really needed to finish him off, I could have assisted.
No blood in my fucking office.
So many people dying slowly in this town right now.
Oh, I'm sorry I cut the pinky off then. You should have told me ahead of time. I have other ways. I would have simply broken the finger.
There is cleaner woman. She is good at job.
Okay, so I'll make one promise. I will not go on a crusade into town. But if it steps out of town, and he looks over to Balin, if Malakai steps out of town, no holds bars, kill on sight.
You just said Malakai.
Sorry, Malakai. Malek. Looks back at Malek. He's like, no.
Listen,
Not Malakai. Malek.
we turn the town against him first. Make them realize what he is.
Precisely.
Yes, otherwise we might as well just be sitting here and waiting for an army of zombies to show up.
Do y'all want me to just take that man of war in the bay and lay siege to the fucking city?
No, not yet.
Well, if you found a way to get it unstuck, I'm sure that the Admiral would love to hear that.
The Admiral's too far up his own ass to listen to Malakai.
I tried that. All the motherfucker needs to do is send down a couple decent swimmers with pickaxes. I could have it 3 in an hour and a half.
Maybe you're the wrong one for him to hear that from.
I'm gonna give Taralese a fate die for working towards destiny as well, because I think the allies she's making right now in this investigation might just help further her goals in that regard.
I
What are
mean,
you suggesting? You hear it from me?
You, me, even perhaps Erald. Although, I think if we really want to make friends, perhaps we have Shagulites tell him. We need to play the field, darling.
who the fuck's Shagulites again?
The fuck
Thank
are
you.
you wanting to have the little red book
That
go
fucker.
against them?
Whatever you think is best. You're better at this politics thing than I am, oddly enough.
Likewise, I'm just here to smash heads.
I'm more of a brute force kind of investigator.
I'm a lover,
Sorry.
not a fighter.
Bullshit.
Oh, and back to the dragon. Dragons are... no, they're part of creation.
Yes, Malakai, there was your own little story you had to tell. I saved you for last because I know you love to embellish.
I was recently approached by a man who is offering a 50 gold per barrel bounty to send a group of folks into the mine the dragon was taking up residence in. There's supposedly a hidden second way. Inside of a tower, some secret words. Go in heat, go in darkness.
Maybe we can convince the dragon to leave?
You're not going to convince the dragon to leave. That's his retirement home.
In a mine.
Something about the mercury makes him feel better.
You know this dragon personally?
I know the laws regarding it.
Oh, okay. So this is a emperor thing.
Yes.
I mean, I've heard of these very strange things. What did they call them? Waterbeds? It was sacks filled with water that people were using as beds. Maybe the dragon is using something like that. Maybe it has arthritis. Who knows?
Maybe it's just got a kink.
Does that mean I sleep on a waterbed?
Your bed is on the water, so yes.
Good to know. Good to know.
I think it has to be an actual, like, rubber sack full of water.
What the fuck's rubber?
It's a waterproof material.
Ah, like whale skin. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what exactly are you proposing, Malakai?
Maybe we send a couple folks out. Curry some favor with the... I mean, it's all highly illegal, of course. Gain some curry some favor with the mountain clans. Maybe they can give us some information. I mean, I'm sure you've all noticed Nim really wants us to go fuck up the Druids.
Yeah, that seems weird.
Strange on that. First time I've actually met Malek. They mentioned they left on their journey and took all their sick with them. If anything, I don't think they actually left and took their sick. I think they might have been actually taken out of the city.
Maybe magically forced with the same type of magic?
Maybe
Or
they're just fucking fleeing.
if me and my kin were here and have to deal with these Shagulites long term, it would either be war or we would be leaving. I think it's the latter in their situation.
Maybe we should go have a conversation with these druids.
And then did you mention that they seem to be tied with the mountain man? Perhaps we need to have some leverage to work them from. So we send some individuals on their behalf to go and distract the dragon while they go and get whatever it was that they were looking for there. Not kill, maybe maim, worst case. Most likely they'll end up maimed rather than the dragon.
Or
Or that. Better them than us. But perhaps we curry some favor.
I'm sure I could have a few garrison guards sent on the mission.
Got a couple hundred mooks, can just send them out into the wild to get eaten. Accuracy through volume.
I'm a
Five or
colonel.
two.
They're foot soldiers.
Now, I don't want him being used as part of the distraction force, but maybe I could send Kakiba out.
He's your first mate, it's your choice.
Actually, Callisto here's the first mate. He's my boatswain. Hence the whip.
So, I'll send some soldiers. You can let him know that they're... Oh, what is the word? Cannon
Expendable.
fodder.
Yes, let's tell them. Some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Exactly.
So what is the plan here as the little cabal is organizing itself?
What can I say? Praanz is a vicious bitch.
It sounds.
Harry.
Does anybody else have any forces or NPCs they would like to send along on this?
I mean, it sounds like in terms of playing NPCs, we've got Mook 1, Mook 2, Mook 3.
Mook, how many soldiers does this town have?
300.
This town has about 300, yeah.
I mean, you don't want to sacrifice all of them. Then you can't have your coup.
Exactly.
It sounds like we're sending about 25 mooks. We're going to have about 15 mooks at the front of the dragon cave, so he's looking in that direction. And Kakiba and the other 10 mooks are going to try to steal some barrels of mercury.
Exactly.
Okay.
We'll need carts.
That's gonna be a lot. So we have some one group that's gonna go to the Druid's temple. Is that what we're saying?
I think we're going to the druid.
Oh, you're going to the.
That's where we're gonna get going next, I
So
think.
the Inquisitor and Praanz... Is Praanz coming with? Is Lady Taralese gonna go out across the glacier?
Oh, certainly not. But she's got some research to do there at the garrison.
Fair enough. So,
I will leave my evidence that I took from the merchant house with you then, if that's possible, rather than take it across the glacier.
Oh, certainly, darling.
So Praanz and the Inquisitor will go to the temple. Captain Malakai is going to oversee some smuggling operations, or is he going to the temple as well?
Malakai will be overseeing smuggling operations and providing security for Lady Taralese while she remains in the city.
Very good.
One of the Black Hand has been attacked. We are now on war footing.
That makes sense. Just checking a thing here. I'm guessing you're not going to depart this day because you want a full day to travel, right?
I'd imagine
Praanz
it's getting
needs
into
to
early
rest.
evening.
Yeah, exactly. There's more people than Praanz who needs a rest, in fact. Taralese is kind of shaken and stirred as well. So Taralese will take a rest. Is that rest in the? It seems like you're in the unicorn now when you're doing such things.
For resting?
Yeah, that seems like your new base. You don't seem to be. Or you could go to the tavern if you like. I'm just curious about where you're taking your rest.
Oh, she'd still take her rest at the garrison.
Okay.
Praanz will walk back with her. I still have rooms there as well.
Very well. Okay, so yeah, let's see now. I'm looking here at the time as well. We are in fact getting towards the end of the chapter. You're gonna take a rest during the afternoon. I'm gonna say Erald and Balan are doing other things, I guess, during the afternoon. What would you be doing?
Erald and Balan would probably be trying to do as much as they can to help out Malakai with the preparations. They're
Okay.
not incompetent, so they'll at least lug some stuff around or what have you.
Right. So that would mean that the expedition towards a potential mercury mine would be tomorrow, then, if you will. So that would be the 17th of Vemsica, and Praanz and Erald will leave also in the morning towards the Kmorda temple. And so on. So, to make a long story short, since Praanz and Taralese are resting in the afternoon, you will get, and this is how I'm going to end, if you will, the episode, you will get word from Gotthard's Reavers. One runner is coming back as the sun is coming down on the horizon. It's evening now, and word... Will word travel to the Colonel? You will notice that they are here because, of course, you are in the garrison. So, also you will notice that you haven't seen Nin in the afternoon. She is not in her room filled of ledgers. She is somewhere else. She maybe in town somewhere, who knows? But you haven't seen her during the afternoon. So someone has come with news. With one of those Wolfkin has come in the late afternoon to Gotthard and presumably reporting on the chase on the archaeological expedition. But Gotthard is not sharing at this point.
Aren't I the one who had him send them out? And he's
Yep.
not. Oh, no. No. No.
Would we like to
Praanz-
revisit bombardment from the coast?
Praanz is not taking that well at all. Shh.
I guess Praanz is walking determinedly into the
Yes.
Procurator's office.
Very much the boot heels clicking on the floor like aggression.
Yep.
So she very sharply knocks on his door.
Yeah, the Procurator will, Colonel.
I believe you have some information for me. I see your reavers are back.
The Colonel seems less inclined to share. Yeah, just a routine report, if you will. Just a routine report, you understand.
I still need to know what's on the report. They were sent out under my orders, after all.
Just nothing to report. They've seen some polar bison. I'm gonna roll his water to lie convincingly. That's one success. You have some water, but you also have some other stuff. Like, for instance, you are noble and reputation. So I'm gonna allow you to add. Let's see now. Your reputation is about. Yeah, I'll give you an extra die for your reputation and for. Well, you're lower rank than he is, noble wise. So an extra 3 dice for you as well for your reputation and station. You are the aggressor in this case, and therefore you win.
Excellent.
Gotthard seems to just want to get you out of the room, and just kind of huffs. Well, if you must know, Colonel, apparently they have the troop you sent out has tracked the archaeological expedition. They went up on the glacier. They are not going to Kruri at all. They're going to the Khmorda temple, that much is clear. We can't expect any other news now for a while. They're gonna be gone until at least a couple of more days, maybe 4.
Thank you. The information is very helpful. Of course, any further news will come my way.
No, of course, Colonel. All the cooperation of the colony as well.
Thank you. Does he have the same glazed over look as everybody else?
Yeah, he does.
Fuck.
And with that, we will finish the session with a scene from somewhere else. Somewhere none of you have any idea. This is a basement somewhere. There's a young woman there. She's dressed in hoses, tunic, light leather boots, a hood over her face, and she's walking back and forth in the basement, and she's kind of grabbing her hair, short cut hair. If I could just sleep. If I could just sleep. Sitting down on a bed. It's too quiet. It's too quiet, she mutters to herself. But no sleep is coming. And with that, we say goodbye to our agents for this time. And, who knows when we will meet them next? Well, in 2 weeks from now. That's when we will meet them next. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Special thanks to Malek, who did a wonderful, wonderful job. And
I sure did something.
yes, you did. Yes, you did. And who knows? Yeah, I could say as also a finishing touch there. You still haven't seen Nin when the evening comes. Where might she be?
Yeah, Taralese is definitely very worried about that.
Eaten, hopefully?
We will find out.
Looking at the state of the Game of Shadows maps and the things we have learned here tonight, I suggest we adapt something from Warhammer 40k. Exterminatus. We're just killing everybody.
That
I
sounds
mean, we've already got our commandant.
That's what I do, isn't it?
You're basically a commissar, yes.
Yes.
I'm here to just kill people until I get the swords back.
We will find out. All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching or listening.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Have a
folks.
good night.
Have a great night.
Have a good night.